Hey guys, Roman Reaper here. Happy New Year, everyone. Well, we're into 2022. All the big stuff ahead of us. Right now, we're on the very first day of the new year, and on the first day of 2022, I am heading out to the cinema to see my first film of the new year. One of the last films of last year, The Matrix Resurrections. Very mixed responses on this one, but I'll watch it and it'll be interesting to see where on the spectrum I fall. No, just a little overview of my thoughts on the Matrix franchise as a whole. I love the first film; it's brilliant, one of my favorites. Just an all-round awesome film. Reloaded was an entertaining enough sequel with some fun action and plenty of interesting ideas of its own, but you can kind of tell the best ideas were used up in the first film, and it falls a bit short, especially in the god-awful CGI. And then Revolutions was just plain dull, I thought. It had some inklings of promising ideas, and I did like seeing the end of Neo's journey, but they lost focus of it in favour of just non-stop special effects. They dragged out so long it actually just got boring to watch. But hoping that Resurrections is better than Revolutions, I expect it'll probably be on par with. I expect it'll at the very least be about on par with Reloaded. But that's enough for me. Head to the cinema, enter The Matrix. So yeah, The Matrix Resurrections. I got back from seeing it a bit ago, and wow, that was really good. It was a really great expansion on the Matrix franchise, and really went in some bold and subversive new directions that I really wasn't expecting. Wow, props to them. They really used that time well. No, of course they didn't. It's I was felt very, very disappointed by this film. The potential was there for it to be a really good film, but to be honest, they don't really use any of it. Like, there are things I liked about it, but at the same time, there's a lot I really didn't like about it either. That it's such a waste. Like, after all this time, this is what they come up with. Just a really average, essentially rehash of the first film. Like, no, literally, the final act just devolved into a generic, less interesting rehash of the rooftop battle from the first film. Essentially, not except now this time, Trinity is the focus, and Trinity's the one now. It seems that it, you don't care about spoilers. It's not a good film. The first half hour of the film, while it had good intentions, these like promising mad ideas of the very corporate, soulless nature of sequels and reboots. The problem is that totally went undermined what they were going for by just having this constant, constant insistence on just these overbearing callbacks to the first film. Like, picture, you know what Cobra Kai does, where every once in a while a scene will cut to footage from any of the original Karate Kid films, and really support what the scene is going for, and to make it clear, even for those who haven't seen the original films, what's going on and why this is important. But this film kind of does that, but without that purpose at all, and basically just being more obnoxious than anything, because it happens so much. Like, the first half hour of this film was like almost a chore to sit through, because this film just seems so pleased with itself. About, hey, remember this thing about the first film? Yeah, so do I. We all love The Matrix. Haha. And once it settles down a bit after that, it does somewhat try and expand on the world of The Matrix, to its credit, but yeah, as I said, it just succumbs to generic rehash. And what's even more disappointing about this is that I quite liked some of the new additions to the cast. Like, I quite liked the new Morpheus. I thought, yeah, did a very good job. I quite liked Jonathan Groff as the new Agent Smith, and even in terms of new characters, quite like the character of Bugs. He was interesting, and I really liked the Analyst. It's just they don't do anything interesting with these characters, and just leave them saddled in this massive rehashes and fan service, which is just such a waste. The action scenes are fine. The problem is they're let down by just really generic, constant cuts in the editing, like most generic action films do, and it just stops it falling, and it just falls well short of the beauty that was the style of the first film's fight scenes. That's what I wanted to see more of, but they couldn't even give us that. And the special effects, for the most part, I thought were fine. But there were a few shots that stood out to me as very ropey. And there's not a loving homage to the sequels. Yeah, overall, Matrix Resurrections, I'm very disappointed by this film. Could have been so much more, but it decides to settle for just another generic sequel slash soft reboot, when really it could have been something more interesting and creative. It's marginally better than Revolutions, mainly because it actually attempts to tell a story and not just settle for constant special effects. But really, it's not even on par with Reloaded. Because at least Reloaded had fun action scenes and didn't just rely on the first, and actually tried to tell its own story that expanded on the world of the Matrix, even if it fell short of the first film. Also, there's a post-credit scene. Stay for it if you want, but it's really not worth it. It's just a bad joke. Not, it doesn't tease anything exciting, although it doesn't really matter anyway. We're not getting any more Matrix films. This one's bombing at the box office, and I don't think there were plans to expand on this film anyway. But yeah, the Matrix Resurrections, you know, as I said, there were things I liked about it, but overall, you can't help but feel just really what the point in it was. It didn't do anything new or interesting, so why did they bother making it? And overall, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Matrix Resurrections. Let me know down in the comments, have you seen it? what side of the whole Marmite scale of this film do you fall on? What's your ranking of the Matrix franchise? Let me know all that down in the comments. Thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.